1 2 1 2 1 2. Am I good?
Testing 1 2.
All right, we're going to get our meeting, our SHAC meeting started. This is a call to order. It is 4:03. We do have a quorum. I would like to welcome everyone. I know this is a crazy time of year in the springtime and with multiple things going on, but there are some things that we have to cover, some changes that are going to take place moving forward. Do we have any public comment?
We do not.
We do not have public comment. One of the things that we're going to need to do moving forward is looking at our wellness policy with some of the things that are coming out and some board decisions that have taken place. The first one is we had a board decision to start the approval of using Narcan due to the fentanyl issue. And so we're going to change that and include that in our wellness policy. Is there anything that you want to add to that as far as the use of the Narcan?
So we did make changes to the FFAC policy, which allows us to carry Narcan here at the school. For opioid-related drug overdoses. So every school right now has Narcan at their campus, along with both police officers are carrying Narcan. I think that's all I have to add.
Thank you.
Michaela, can you point out one of the things that is included in this packet is that regulation, so that everybody can take that and look at that regulation?
So it's under administration of opioid antagonist medication. Do you want me to read it?
No, just, I'm more concerned about this one that tells where it's stored and that sort of thing.
So right now we're storing the Narcan with the AED clipped on in its own pouch. Administration, we got an order from a local physician, and the staff is going to be trained on signs and symptoms of when to give Narcan, and that's in the pouch as well. It has a little flow chart that everyone can follow. It's intranasal. So it'll be one puff up one nostril, and then there can be multiple doses administered.
Thank you. All right, moving forward on item number 6, let's go to 6A1, drug testing. Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir. So with our drug testing on this last round, our policy, well, what we do every time is we drug test about 30 kids randomly, district-wide on a secondary level. On this last round, we had 31 tested. There were 5 positives. 3 of those were prescription. 1 of those was a repeater. So we have taken the appropriate steps with that, with those students, and made sure that we will keep up with them to make sure we do what our policy states that we should do.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Renner, social emotional.
We're in the process of trying to get the PASS survey to all of the students in elementary, middle, and high school. And that's all I have.
Just to add to that just a little bit, we received notification from Johnson County Child Advocacy Center, and due to some of the changes with Senate Bill number 9, what they are going to offer us is the opportunity to provide services to our kids. One of the things that we'll have to determine moving forward is they're requesting a needs assessment. And so thinking about certain specific needs by campus, and I know it's going to be different on every campus. They have everyone from CPS to an assistant district attorney, Children's Advocacy Center clinical directors, program directors, executive directors, and they're willing to come out and speak to our kids in regards to some of the issues that they might be dealing with, not just in school, but outside of school as well. So that's another opportunity for us moving forward to provide mental health support through the Johnson County Advocacy Center. All right, healthcare, anything healthcare?
So along with carrying Narcan, we have been focusing at the high school level with education with the students. So we've been breaking up it by class and doing presentations for all the kids. It's our superintendent, Mr. Hopper, Mr. Camacho, the high school principal, myself, and Chief Wood. And we're just educating the kids on, the importance of not even starting drug use, but also how scary it is nowadays with fentanyl being mixed into other pills that they could be taking. So we've really been focusing on trying to educate the kids, and I think it's been really good. It's been really good for them.
As far as general illness, what are some of the illnesses that our kids are coming down with?
There's been, a lot of lice with the younger kids and strep. And stomach bug.
Okay, thank you. This next one is directed towards our campus principals in regards to our physical education and activities schedule as far as the jump rope for heart and those type of activities. Where are we at on that?
We've already participated in the Heart Challenge, and all that's been turned in. What else would you like to know? I do not remember how many kids participated, but I think we donated close to $9,000. I would have to look in my board report to give you the exact amount, but if I need to send it, I can.
And then Venus Primary probably had all 430 of our students participated, and I think we donated over 6,000. And in fact, we're about to do our Slime a Teacher event the last week of school, where those that donated $75 or more get to Slime a Teacher.
We have been participating in PE. They've been working on FitnessGram. I don't know if it's called FitnessGram anymore, but they have been participating in finishing that up, but they've been working on it.
We also have field day coming up. Primaries is Friday, and ours is next Thursday and Friday.
Currently, I am not aware of what the physical education is doing at this moment. I don't think fitness gram is what they're doing. They have been going outside to the track every day though, and participating out there in this, and the weather's getting a little hotter, but they have been outside and getting their physical education and physical fitness in on a daily basis, for sure.
Something I'd like for everyone to think about moving forward. We're coming close to the end of the year, and, it is that. But as we move forward, starting next year, coming up with some ideas to include staff. I know that we've sent out several notices as far as the availability of our fitness center and those sorts of things. But just encouraging that, the physical wellness of our staff is very important, because that leans towards the mental aspect of it. So just coming up with some ideas to encourage them to move forward with their own physical activity.
Mr. Moore, I don't know if you want to count this yet or not, but Ms. Price has been working on doing yoga during lunches with staff members. So that is something that we started real recently.
Thank you for remembering that. All right, moving down to 6C, and Tina, what do we have in child nutrition?
We've just finished our last nutrition education materials for the year, and then we will not be doing the student involvement piece where our students come down and meet, do taste testing and discuss menus and good nutrition, due to the fact there's only a few days left in school and everybody's very busy. I would like to say that for all the principals to be aware, there's a no-charge policy starting Monday. Mr. Stephen has posted that on the district webpage and on all 4 of your campuses page, from my understanding. And then also, I believe Laura is going to do a all-call come Sunday night, and she's also posted that on the social media. And then we'll be sending home, especially to our younger grades, little notes to go home with the parents about that, because we don't want anybody to have to go without a meal or have to take an alternate meal. But it is time that the charging stops. So those letters are fixing to be sent out. They're being printed right now to be passed out. As far as the middle school and high school, would y'all like, if we got letters printed, would there be a certain classroom like we do when we're doing the free and reduced applications? Would there be a place where you could hand those out? Because if so, we will get those ready.
Yeah, we can.
I just want to do everything we can to make sure that parents do know. And my only other thing is we're starting summer feeding for the summer. So other than that.
Thank you, ma'am. One of the things that is on the conversation list in regards to moving to the 4-day instructional week is how we're going to handle feeding for the times off. And so we're currently working on, and I know we have a backpack program that we've had minimally, but just thinking of ideas of how we can provide nutrition for our kids, because it's very important for us to provide that opportunity for kids who choose to do so, because some of them won't, coming up next school year. So that's just another thing coming down the pipe.
So on that note, we have been participating in sort of a backpack, not backpacks, Walmart bags, and passing food out. We've been doing it for about maybe 3 months, that we send stuff home every Friday, if that's the last day of the week or a Thursday. And we have about 30 kids that are participating in that. But they have, the lady in Mansfield has reached out, she said, to every principal, and has heard back from some and not from others, but they are willing to do all of our campuses. They just need the information from us. So if anybody needs that, I can get you that contact information, but they are willing to do for every campus in our district if we just say we want it.
We are also participating in that. A little man comes by and delivers like so many grocery sacks, and our counselor distributes those on Thursday or Friday.
Is that something that it will be a sustainable continuation in the next school year?
As far as I know, definitely. She's also spoke to me about if they could find a place, they would like to run a food closet for our district also, but they need a place, like a,
It's called Kim Buck's office.
well, you know, if it is what it is sometimes. I actually do have a thought in mind of a place. It's just something we need to talk about as a whole district. But they're willing to do bags at the high school. They're willing to do bags at the primary. She told me she's reached out and just hasn't heard back from some folks, so.
Will that be enough for every child that wanted it, or is it only certain?
We started with, to our teachers, like, who do you know needs?
Okay.
And I think we started, Lori, did we start with 20? I think we were doing 20 bags. And then we had more kids coming. And so we asked, and so we're up to doing 30, and we do 30 bags every week. And they are packed so full, like I'm having to rebag because it's tearing the bags up. They have so much stuff in them. And so, can I say that they could do every kid in the district? Probably no, but not every kid in the district needs that. I think if we called and said, hey, I need 40 instead of 30, I think they would be very accommodating. I know they're also doing Waxahachie, and they're running a food closet through Waxahachie, so they have the ability to do several places, and willing to do it.
I think my parents want to get involved, and I think if I said we're starting a primary food closet, pantry, and we gave them a list of items, hey, these are the things we will accept, I think I would have donations every month. We've also partnered with Midlothian Walmart. They're gonna sponsor the primary school, and we spoke to them this morning, and I know our focus is school supplies, but maybe that's something where we could work with them, where maybe they could provide helping our students with those backpacks for the weekend.
I know when Gloria called several of our parents that teachers recommended, the parents said, we know there's families that are worse off than we are. Our kids may not have Pop-Tarts on Saturday, but we would rather you give it to someone, or a family, give our bag to another family that could use it. So we have had several parents turn it down.
I
But-
have had some of that too.
The families that
Yeah.
are taking it usually have multiple kids in the home, and it's a lot of snack type items and
Yeah.
like little cans of like SpaghettiOs and stuff that
It's things
are
they can fix
things they can
themselves.
easily
Yeah.
fix themselves.
And I will say we had an overabundance because we somehow got 2 deliveries in one week. I'm not sure how that happened, but they were like, just keep it, do whatever. So I even called some high school parents of kids that I knew in the past we had done some things with, and they came and picked up stuff, even some high school parents. So I know that need is there.
And I think that's very important as far as the campus level is concerned, knowing your students and knowing their need, because not every student is going to take it, even if they need it, but there are going to be those students that it will be a huge bonus for them moving forward.
I know on the secondary level, the first time we did it, like, we didn't think through everything. And so it was like hey, come pick this up. And we called kids down, and it was an issue. So now it's a communication that we have with those kids ahead of time, and they know, and they stop by. We don't do a backpack, like they make sure their backpack is empty enough to put it in there, zip it, and leave. That way no one knows whether they got it, or some kids don't care, but those kids that do, like, we find a way so that they're not walking out carrying a big white bag. We dump it in the backpack or whatever we need to do.
So the high school, we had stuff delivered to us, but our counselors struggled with finding the students that needed it. So a lot of the times, like, they at one point put them out on the tables, and so then kids on the way to the bus would grab and just pick out the bags and then leave. It was a mess. She at one point had 50 bags of groceries sitting in her office. I think. I believe so.
Yeah.
And so they decided to end that.
Absolutely, and I will tell you my experience, and not just because there were families that I knew from when they were with us, freshmen, maybe sophomores. And we could talk about who those were. So I didn't talk to kids, I called their parents, and their parents came to the middle school and picked up, because a lot of those bags then got moved to me. But I had multiple high school parents come to our campus, but just asking kids, I didn't get a lot of response that way, but with parents, they were willing to come pick up whatever we had, so.
We did the same thing. We put it on Seesaw, and I said, if you want one, and they showed up at school and they pick it up in the office. So then it takes the responsibility off of the kids.
That's what I do.
The bags are heavier than
Yeah, that too.
And I think that's some of the issue with our kids, especially the older ones. It's an embarrassment factor. If I'm carrying out food, they don't want to be seen as that. And so finding creative ways to continue to distribute that to them, however that may be. But if, for especially the older ones, they're not going to come in and pick up a bag and walk down the hall with it. They're just not going to. So just be thinking of more creative ways that we can distribute the food and still be an impact on them over the weekend.
I know at the high school in Waxahachie, like they've targeted those kids based on that, and they come and bring their backpack and go to the food closet and get the things they want. You end up with a lot of things that nobody wants then, and you gotta figure that out. That, we don't do that, they take the whole bag, but like I said, they know they're getting it on the last day, whether that's Thursday or Friday, so they make sure that there's room in their bag. And they put it in the backpack, we zip it up before they leave the area, no one ever sees or knows.
Well, like if we would have enough to hand out, you wouldn't have to exploit anyone based on, you know, where they stood financially, but just let, you know, hey, we've got some bags of food, anybody that wants to can come get that, and I guess first come, first serve, you know, situation.
Yeah, and the issue, I guess, with that is sometimes the ones who really need it aren't the ones that
Aren't
get there
gets it.
first,
Right.
so.
Yeah, that's true.
We have worked a lot with teachers, asking counselors, talking to parents. And some of them have kids that are my campus and high school campus, and they have, I'm thinking of one in particular, they have like 9 kids. So we make sure, you know what I'm talking about. We make sure that whether the kid gets it on my campus or we call them, that they get things. So I think it's a lot of communication with it. And it's a lot of calling parents, because you're right, the kids aren't going to walk in there and pick that up in front of everybody else.
All right, currently we don't have any action items. Just understand that we're going to be adding the information about the Narcan to our wellness policy. We'll be reviewing that and some other items as well. I think the Children's Advocacy Center in Johnson County is something that we need to look at moving forward for next year and trying to implement that.
I have a question. Does our actual policy have to change and be updated, or does can our plan change with this new medication
It will be an addition
to the policy?
to the policy.
Okay.
All right. Any other open discussion items that anybody wants to bring to the table?
I just have a question, and it may just be a Tina question, but with the nutritional guidelines, and I know there's like they can only have so many carbs, whatever, in their lunch, but is there any way before, or for, not maybe for middle school, because they have snack bar, that's a whole different world at secondary, but if we could meet in the summer before you set the menus, because there's so many side items that our kids don't eat, and I'm at lunch duty every day, and like cherry tomatoes, I bet we throw away 60 pounds of cherry tomatoes every week.
The only thing I would say to that is, yes, ma'am, I'd be glad to sit down with you and talk to you. However, when you're talking about keeping fat, and when you're talking the meal pattern, we are required in a week's time to serve so many dark greens, so many orange, yellow, red. That's where that tomato's coming in. We're required to have to get a red vegetable in. So it may be something that we can't control, but we will definitely
Yeah, I think it would be fun to kind of partake in on that. I know a lot of the prepackaged items the kids just toss.
We wouldn't be doing a lot of the prepackaged if we weren't doing breakfast in the classroom. That's where a lot of the prepackaged.
Well, it's
comes
more
in.
during lunch, I mean, I think if you could come visit, come drop in on a random day and just observe the kids, you would really see what we're seeing, and, we want to provide what's best for our kids, and,
No
and
doubt.
as I know you do too, but it would be,
Sure.
we'd like to
I
participate.
didn't realize there were certain things that we're not eating at all, really, across the 4 grade levels until I started doing more lunch duty. And I just hate that it's all going to waste.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything that we need to add to our next round on our agenda that you can think of? We'll be sending out an additional next meeting date once we get these revisions made, so we can look at our wellness policy. And so we're gonna do it like July the 2nd. No, I'm just kidding.
That's fine with me.
Yeah. Gru said that's perfectly fine with
No
her.
worries, I'm good with that.
But if there's not anything else that we need to discuss, we're gonna adjourn, and we're going to adjourn at 4:28. Thank you.